So we're now going to use the plane to do something a little bit more advanced. Previously we were just using it to plane down surfaces and make them clean. After that we marked on some lines for something called a chamfer. We're now going to use the plane to do that thing called a chamfer. Here's what one looks like. You can see that an edge has been skimmed off at 45 degrees right the way down this long side. So I've already done half of the job and I'll show you how to do the other half of the job down there. So you'll have to do what you're shown here twice. So it's to go into the vise, try to get it sitting out of the vise as much as possible, get it in reasonably tight. Remember, we don't want to tighten up anything so much that it crushes our wood, but it's got to be gripped in really firmly. And then we'll get the plane. If your plane's not working, see your teacher or see if you can get a loan of one that's working well. So we're going to hold the plane at 45 degrees as well, so that we create a surface that runs along here at 45 degrees. Here's what 45 degrees looks like. This is a 45 degree set square. So we're looking to have this plane sitting at an angle about this angle. That's 45 degrees. 45 degrees is basically halfway between horizontal and vertical. So what I'm doing is I'm thinking about that angle the whole time. I don't want to tilt it over too far or I'm going too steep. I don't want to tilt it too far back or I'm going too shallow. We have to use our judgment here. While we're doing it, we have to pay attention to what's happening. Asking yourself all the time, is the surface that we're creating of the plane gradually heading towards the lines? Is it perhaps getting towards some lines sooner than others? Is it going over the lines? Is the surface we're creating slightly wider at one end or at the other? I'm going to do a couple of passes and see what happens. And it's almost like when people play and they have bad habits, and one thing will happen to one person and another thing will happen to someone else. I can see my habits now are causing me to get quite close to this line and quite close to that line, but I'm actually finding I've not done very much here. I've actually got quite a large distance to go before I get to the line here from the surface that I've started to plane. So something to try might be turning round and planing in a different direction. That might not be an option depending on your bit of wood. It might start to break up or flake. So I'm going to try to continue planing in this direction. But because I'm now beginning to feel that I'm planing too much here, I'm going to actually take a little bit more time to plane this end. So I'm going to do what's called a half pass. I'm going to just plane to halfway a couple of times and then see what the results are. Yes, the results are that I've planed slightly more here and I'm back in track, and what I've done here looks a bit more like what I've done here. So now I can continue planing a full pass. I'm going to stop before I cross any of the lines. I'm seeing that I'm very close to coming across this line, very close to coming across this line, whereas I've still got a little bit of distance between the line here and the surface I've created. So I just need to lean a little bit more to the left, I feel. Maybe I'm not going to change the angle in what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be applying more pressure and trying to persuade the plane to plane a bit more towards the left. This might be something to do with the lever that we have in the plane that adjusts the angle. If you think it's really bad, get your teacher to check it. If you've never used a plane before, and the planes have been set up for you coming in, it's probably nothing to do with the plane. It's probably you, and you've got to appreciate that you'll take a while to get used to it. I'm now crossing the line and you can see that the scored marking gauge lines are beginning to disappear in places. And I do want to go slightly past them because they were quite deep scores into the timber. And I don't want black etched in lines being visible in your product. I've now gone completely past the line here. I've still got some of the line here. So again, I have to do a kind of half pass on this side a couple of times. Okay, so that's me now taking off the lines everywhere, and one final pass will give me a nice smooth surface. That's great. Okay, just to repeat, you're not to plane this end. Some people might think that you would put it in the vise like this, and you would plane it like that. It might work, but it also might do some serious damage to your project and end up ripping grain off the wood. Okay, so that's two chamfers planed on this piece of timber. You've seen me do one, you have to do 2 yourself. You'll also have a second block of wood where you have to do the exact same thing. So you in total will have done this operation 4 times, and you'll have edges here and here to chamfer 4 times.